there are two things. One is a policy that guides the nation. The other is politics. What was eventually opted for was a multiple slab GST regime, 8 or more, starting from 0 to 28 plus different cesses on different goods. That created a lot of problem for the people. But I was very pleasantly surprised to see Mr. Jaitley leading the GST Council. But skydiving is something that was on my mind, something I'd like to do.
Hello and welcome to the Statesman Talk. I'm Ananya Dasgupta. On this episode, we are joined by T.S. Singh Deo. He's the former Deputy Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh and veteran Congress leader. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us here on
Thank
Statesman
you,
Talk.
Ananya ji, for giving me this opportunity. Statesman for me has been an icon. I was a student of Delhi University, and we would come in our spare time to CP, that is Connaught Place, and always the statesman was there for us to see. For me, it was a source of information and valued views from college time to today, though I go through papers lesser now. And it's an honor for me to be here with you today.
So nice to know that, sir. And you have such a strong brand connect with brand statesman. So good to know that. Let me get to today's questions now. Your comments recently on Twitter, now known as X, criticizing the government's GST Utsav kicked up quite a furor. Do you still stand by them, given that you were also part of the GST Council when you were Deputy Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh?
See, there are two things. One is a policy that guides the nation. The other is politics. When you mix these or try to mix these, then you get a situation where one responds differently. GST as a tax reform was visualized over the years by many parties, many governments, including the Congress-led UPA government. And at that point in time, we had our present Prime Minister, who was then the Chief Minister of Gujarat, expressing very strong views that GST over my dead body. Very strong views. He would have had reservations, states had reservations. I was personally not very much in favor, and I am not even today, of the states giving up their right to taxation. You have a uniform tax rate throughout the country, legalize it, pass an act or whatever, that is acceptable. But I am not of the view that the right of taxation should be taken away from the states in a federal setup. So that apart, so when you bring in the GST, right from day one, where the policy issues are concerned, what were the issues? What would be the loss of revenue to states? What would be the point of taxation? Would it be at the point of manufacture or would it be at the point of consumption? And what would be the rates? A net neutral rate of taxation. Governments need revenue for their welfare projects as well as developmental projects. So you need revenue. So between this, what should you do? What was eventually opted for was a multiple slab GST regime, 8 or more, starting from 0 to 28 plus different cesses on different goods. That created a lot of problem for the people. See, the business person doesn't give the tax. No business person gives the tax. He becomes the tax collector for the government. It is the consumer who is giving the tax. So the business person was loaded with filing returns for these various tax slabs, and it gave a lot of issues for these persons who are in business. GST brought about the closing down of many small enterprises, many small enterprises. So there were downsides to this tax structure. And the demand or the view, you mentioned, I was also representing Chhattisgarh
Yes.
on the GST Council. So Now, 4 or 5 years back, on record, we have been putting it, I have put it on record that we must rationalize this tax structure, get it down to 2 slabs, at most 3 slabs, and raise the share, which is 50-50 today, CGST and SGST, the shares going to the state and revenue government, the central government, because what eventually the states are getting is only 71%. 50% is CGST and 41% today, earlier 42%, as per the Finance Commission devolution, of the central share of the revenue, which is devolved to the states. So what does the state get? 70.5%, or let us say 71%. So 29% or 29.5% is going to the central government. Now, a state like Chhattisgarh, the logic to form it was it is not getting as much share of the revenue when it was part of Madhya Pradesh or whichever state earlier, central provinces, etc., CP and Barar, as the revenue it was being able to generate for its state at that point in time. It's a mineral rich state. So, okay, form a separate state so that it can develop uh, rightfully on the foundation of the resources it has, natural resources, coal, bauxite, element, iron ore, etc., etc., forest produce. Now, when the state is formed and you go into a regime where those very sources of revenue are taken away from you, for example, coal, just giving an example, the state was earlier getting 5% tax on coal that was being produced, used wherever in the country. When the GST regime came, you're still taxing it at 5%. But the state is getting only 2.5%, and 40% of 2.5% is, let us say, 1%. So from 5%,
It comes down.
it comes down to 3.5%, a resource which is the basis, one of the logics for founding the state so that it can develop on the strength of its natural resources. So for states like Chhattisgarh, one could see it very clearly. I was the leader of the opposition when this was coming about, and I remember speaking in the assembly and saying, please look into it. I am not in favor of this regime from the point of view of the state. I still feel that the states should not be deprived of the right to direct taxation. Common slab throughout the country, that is understandable. A car in Chandigarh is taxed at 2% and a car in Chhattisgarh is taxed at 12%. That anomaly you remove. That is understandable. But not the right of the state as a federal entity to mobilize its own resources for its own development and the welfare of its people. Now, what was introduced, and at that time, Mr. Amar Agrawal was the finance minister in the BJP government. Raman Singh Ji was the chief minister. I mentioned it in the House. I am no expert in finance, but whatever little one can understand, you please be very careful. See whether it should be done. Look at the interest of the states, this, that. That is the background of GST. Now, for 8 years, from day one, the concept was to have a good tax, GST, good and simple tax. So, were we able to introduce a good and simple tax? Politics comes in, you convene the Houses of Parliament at 12 o'clock, midnight, as if it's another freedom for the country, and you introduce a tax which is not a good and simple tax, and it has various fallouts, etc., etc. So, between the politics and the rationality of having a tax structure for revenue collection, these two issues, when they come together, then you have things like comments and politics sets in. So, somebody says something, then you as a member, you'll be seen as a member of another political party, then you say something. So one of the things I said was that the GST Council itself is visualized as an independent body. It is not answerable to Parliament. It has representation from all the states, and big or small states in terms of population or wealth, each has one vote. Central government has a larger share, so it is obvious that the representative of the central government can use that weightage of vote share as a veto. But it is not the central government which takes decisions in the GST Council. And I also mentioned that as a new member, when I went for the first meetings in the GST Council, I had my doubts and trepidations. This is the hardly any states from which the Congress comes. That time India Alliance was not there. Other parties were there. And like it happens, whoever has the majority, things will go that way. So you just got to sit and attend the meeting and come back. But I was very pleasantly surprised to see Mr. Jaitley leading the GST Council in a way where, in my memory, while he was the chairman, not one decision was taken till complete unanimity was reached.
I see.
Not one decision. So even if one state had an objection, the decision was put on hold.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. All those days, years I spent as a representative of Chhattisgarh on the GST Council, that I was very pleasantly surprised. Then you can speak and talk and, in a reasonable manner, put up things. No Congress BJP then. If you make it political, then it's going to go like in parliament, you vote, you pass an act, it'll get passed. So one was thinking that the GST Council would probably be working in a similar way. Now, this is a national forum where the federal representatives of the entire country are going to come together to safeguard their interests and the interest of the country together. It's not vote. Whoever has larger votes, that decision will be passed. So that was my introduction to the GST Council. And I was very, very satisfied with that situation. It came as a big surprise, almost a shock. Can this sort of a thing? So that sort of concept of the GST Council, it gets violated when somebody says, I have got it passed. If I today want to take the credit of a decision that has been taken, I may have expressed an opinion, but that is not me passing something in the GST Council.
I get your point, and I appreciate the inside view that you shared as well.
Yes.
On participating in the GST Council meetings. Another issue that you've spoken out about recently is that of the US President Donald Trump's decision to hike the H-1B visa fees. Why do you think it's a foreign policy misstep as far as the Indian government is concerned?
These are decisions taken by, let us say, if you see it bilaterally, the impact on the interests of two countries. It may impact others, but this is impacting us. So who's responsible for seeing the better interests of the country or the citizens of the country? The representative of the government in place at that point in time. And whether it is the Commerce Ministry or whether it is the Foreign Ministry or the Prime Minister or at whichever level you are forming associations for the best interest of both the countries, then who's responsible? Now, we had the Prime Minister in America saying that, openly saying to the Indian diaspora that we have reached an agreement and H-1B, etc., it's going to become like this and you don't need to go back to the country and then come back and then your H-1B. And the impression was that things are working for the easier presence of Indians in jobs available in a country where that country needs your expertise or your knowledge or your skill. Now, suddenly, an imposition of $1 lakh comes in. It inhibits, from one point of view, you can say that brain drain is, thank you, Mr. Trump, you've prevented brain drain. You can see it from that point of view. The other point of view is that if it is an more open world today, where political or geographical lines drawn on maps make countries, and you have restrictions or limitations on travel and jobs, etc., etc., then who's supposed to look after it? Those who would be wanting to go to for a job in America, 85 lakh rupees, and I think it is annually, I don't know, 85 lakh rupees. So there it is a failure on the part of the government at that point in time to not be able to protect the better interests. You go, you work there, you remit money, you get dollars into the country, it helps the economy, it helps increase the size of your dollar savings, etc., etc. So whose interest is being harmed? Eventually the country. Who's responsible? I'm not wanting to criticize individuals, but who would be responsible? So there you must stand up and take the responsibility. Okay, we've done this, we've not been able to do that. It is not just politics. Okay, this has happened, we've got to work around it. Mr. Goyal has gone there, let us see what he comes out to. But at this point, it is a failure.
Let's come to domestic politics now and the issue of the allegation, especially by Rahul Gandhi, of vote theft. Now that Bihar is going to polls and you have your ear to the ground as a seasoned politician, do you think this issue has an echo across the state of Bihar, or do you think caste will still be the deciding factor in how people vote?
Now that vote chori has an echo throughout the country. There are issues which come up, and some resonate in a limited way, and some resonate in a much larger way. So this is an issue which has resonated throughout the country. So when you say that you've also been in the thick of things, politics on the ground, so we've been, for the last 50 years, for example, I have been involved in the election processes, seen voter lists, seen their deficiencies over the years, and there would not be one election, where we don't get a call during election time on voting day. Baba, my name is cut. My name was there last time, this time it's cut. Or so many people who have passed away and their names are there. So it is not something which is suddenly happening today. What is happening today is the worry that is it being done in a planned and orchestrated way where a lot of names are being included which should not be on the voter list, and are they voting for a particular party? You don't know who they are voting for. That false names are not there is not a matter of discussion. We should not waste time on that. Unfortunately, the Election Commission has made it into a disputable sort of an issue. Simply what they needed to do was we look into it. That would have been the end of the matter. But they have allowed this to become an issue nationally, where everybody who's involved in politics knows that in many elections, some people are able to slip in names.
But I'll come here with what the BJP says to this. The BJP says that the Congress raises an issue about vote theft only in cases where the party loses. When the Congress party wins elections in various states, the Congress has won in Himachal, the Congress has won in Telangana, then you don't raise the issue of vote theft. What do you say to that?
One, I was just seeing Mr. Rahul Gandhi interacting with the media on a podcast yesterday, YouTube. The same question was asked of him. And he says, I am not talking about one party winning or losing. That is not the issue. The issue is that the voter list is faulty. And it may be getting used by certain people for their interest. You cannot even say who till the inquiry is done. So there is no doubt about that. There is no doubt about that. And on a lighter vein, somebody said that they gave the example of a casino. So when you go to a casino, does everybody lose? We all know that casinos make a lot of money, that in the sense that their banker or whoever is playing on behalf of the casino, they rake in money. They win. Eventually in betting, they win. But some people do also win. So there's a, let some win, rest we'll take. So that's a cynical sort of way of putting it, like I said, in a lighter vein. But the issue is not who's winning or losing. Today, we have not been able to get into that. There is no doubt that the voter list is vitiated. And the Election Commission must not get into, as an independent body, and like many people have said, to appear not as the Election Commission of India, but as the Election Commission of the Government of India. It must never appear to be that. So then the whole neutrality of the process of having a free and fair election will get vitiated.
I got your point. We'll turn to your state now of Chhattisgarh and the recent developments in the state of the ex-Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel's son being arrested in the liquor scam case. The BJP says the arrest exposes the deep-rooted corruption under the Congress government in Chhattisgarh. How do you respond to that?
One, it is still an allegation. It has not been proved. And what we have seen, and it's been repeated ad nauseum now, that if we limit ourselves to the ED, that less than 1% of convictions are there, 0.5%. And the process is becoming the punishment. This has been repeated again and again, and it is a fact that you are imprisoning people who should be imprisoned when it has been proven that they are guilty of a particular deed, and not when the process is still there. One person just got bail yesterday in the liquor scam only, and the judge, while giving bail, ruled that there are 700 or 800 witnesses. There is no way in which 800 witnesses can depose in a short period of time, which means that that person would be incarcerated for n number of years. So the very process of justice, where you say that everybody is innocent till proven guilty, here you are getting punished before you are proven guilty. So that process is getting vitiated, and then that allegation comes, it is being misused by, let us say, a government in power, because we would presume that the ED has no particular personal interest in taking action against any individual representing any particular political party, or not taking action against any particular individual representing a particular political party. So then, in that frame, when you see what has happened to Chaitanya, then it appears to be vindictive. Take action. There is no question that X, Y, Z, no matter who that individual may be, if they have done wrong, they must be punished. But before you have proven that they are wrong or they have done a misdeed, which is punishable in law, you're punishing them. That is the issue.
I understand. That's quite a logical and reasonable take that you're giving. But it's not just a question of the former Chief Minister's son, it's also the former Chief Minister's aide, Soumya Chaurasia, I think, whose properties were worth crores have been attached in a corruption case. Again, the BJP's allegation is that it's a clear case of systemic corruption under the Congress government earlier in the state of Chhattisgarh. How do you respond to this one?
See, the same thing. The BJP, let us say, is in power today. It's in governance. Government of India is being overseen by the representatives of the BJP in a alliance, NDA, but leading party is the BJP. As members of the government, they should know what is right and what is wrong. What they are doing is making allegations. If you know there is something wrong, then why is not action taken on what you know? So you don't know, otherwise action would be taken. You're making allegations and saying that so and so is corrupt. If there is corruption and you know it, who's supposed to take action? Well, you're going through a process of law, which again says that you have to be proven guilty. Are you being able to do that? So you should not as representatives of the government, representing the will of the people, make allegations which appear to be known facts. You present it as if I know that. So if you know, then how is that person moving around? Soumya Chaurasia may have got bail too after a long time. I'm not going into the merits of Soumya Chaurasia or anybody. If there is an allegation, don't say it is proven. If there is proof, that person should not be outside. They must be punished as per the law of the land.
Reasonable arguments there. The next assembly election in Chhattisgarh is due in 2028 now. Your party lost, that is, the last election in the state. Have you had time to ponder over your own personal loss as well as the loss of the Congress in the state?
Yes, I was just going to add, I too lost. Our party also lost.
Yes.
We didn't get a majority. We were limited to 35 seats. The election before that, the BJP was limited to 15. They were in governance for 3 terms, 15 years. They were limited to 15 years, 15 seats. We had the opportunity to be part of the government for 5 years. We were reduced to 35 seats, where most of the projections, 95% of the projections were saying that the government will come to power. So it came as a surprise to us. I didn't expect to lose. I knew that my margins would be lesser this time for various reasons. But I personally also didn't expect to lose. My assessment was should be able to get through by 2 to 5,000 votes, but one lost. Though the margin may be less, losing is losing. And the government will get a majority, around 50. In the media, before election, you project a higher number, but your own assessment, internal assessment, one knows a little of what is happening, which area what is happening, what is likely to affect the outcome of elections. It is not as rosy as we are presenting it or allowing it to be presented or stating ourselves. Some of our associates were saying, "Ab ki baar 75 par," so going to get more than 75 seats. So even then, before the elections, I did say to the media, okay, these are projections, 400 par, 75 par. Oh, we say these things during election time to keep the morale up and all, but we'll form the government. That was my assessment. So it came as a surprise to that extent. Work had been done. Good schemes had also been implemented. Some things were not able to be done, which will happen every time. But overall, there were good chances of the government being formed. So when it is not formed, then you make assessments. And like I mentioned it earlier, in the media too, we have 90 seats, and I like to do my own assessment, and the way I present it to myself, I split Chhattisgarh in roughly 2 parts, let us say 3 parts, 44, 46 seats. These 46 seats represent 26 seats of the tribal belt, Bastar 12, Sarguja 14, and 20 seats which are urban, 100% urban or around 50% urban. This is where we lost.
In the urban seats?
In the urban and the tribal seats. Okay. In 2018, when we got 68 seats, which was also a surprise. I was not expecting to get 68 seats, frankly. We formed the government, good chance. Raman Singh, he has a reasonably good image, clean image. Governments do work. But a lot of things have gone wrong. We have a good chance to win. 68, I didn't expect. Like losing, I didn't expect. So what happened in 2018, in these 26 seats of the tribal belt, we won 25. This time we won 4. Okay. So you lost 21 seats here. 68 seats we had won, 3 by-elections we had won, so we were at 71. So from 71, 21 seats less is 50. Then in the 20 urban seats, where usually the BJP is strong, seen to be strong, urban areas. In 2018, we had won 17 seats. This time we won 3. So 14 seats down. We've lost 14 seats here, 21 seats there, 35 straight shaved
But
away.
what would you say now, in hindsight, was the reason for that?
And uh, in the balance 44, that's roughly half of Chhattisgarh, we had won 27 in 18. This time we won 28.
Okay,
1 seat
one
more.
more. Huh.
Let us say we were almost where we were, a little gain. So when you say that the government has failed in totality, then the government was there in those 46 seats and the government was there in these 44 seats. So something happened where the perception of the voter in these 44 seats was with the government, and something happened in the other 46 seats where the perception of the voter was not with the government in power. That needs to be analyzed, has been analyzed. On my personal behalf, I have made my own analysis, and some things we can say, some things we cannot say very openly. But certainly, one makes these assessments, and we went wrong in these two pockets: the tribal areas, not the tribal seats, the tribal areas which also have unreserved seats. Out of these 26, I think 4 are
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On 6 are unreserved, 20 are reserved. The other tribal seats in other areas. But something went wrong here.
So hopefully you'll recalibrate for next elections.
Must. Otherwise, you'll be where you were.
Yes.
We have to keep our base in the 44 seats where we won 28, and we need to do something where we lost in these 46 seats.
But your bond with Ambikapur still remains very strong because of your
Yes.
close family ties.
Yes, we are. I am from a family which has a feudal background. We were family was the erstwhile rulers of Sarguja state before independence, and fortunate to have had forefathers who seem to have been liked by the people. So one has the advantage of that goodwill which they had earned. See, otherwise a person who's governing, they're not good. They haven't looked after us. They have exploited us here. They've done wrong here. Lot of things could be said, and okay, they took reasonable care of us. Things were okay here. You have that goodwill. So post-independence, family has been with the Congress. Pre-independence, the family had been with the Congress. So we had supported the Congress on record right from the Tripuri Congress, where 52 or 54 elephants were sent with food essentials, rasad. State was to have been confiscated by the British for helping the Congress party. It didn't happen. But we had very good relations with the Congress party and its leaders. So it was reciprocal. They looked after us, if it can be said. We stayed with the Congress, and that has continued. The Congress took our, let us say, state. It was responsible for getting the states to be merged in the dominion of India. They took our lands. Sealing Act came. They took our privileges and privy purses, Indiraji. And businesses, some of the businesses we were doing, they were nationalized, etc. So we would have had the least reason to be with the Congress because they had affected us directly. Yet, the ideology of the Congress and the leaders in the Congress, the association we had formed between ourselves was a very strong bond which still exists today. And our interest, what I could gauge as a youngster, I was never keen to enter into politics. I did not, and I do not like what is known to be politics. But the people there seem to expect something of you. You know, times have changed, the feudal setup has gone, you're not a ruler, you're a citizen of India, everybody has one vote. Yet, there were expectations as a youngster after doing my college in Delhi and post graduation in Bhopal. I wanted to work on my own. So, when I went to our place, Sarguja, one could see and sense that people still have some expectation of you. Young generation has come up, education, new views, lots of things. I am personally a Democrat. For me, that is the best form of governance that human race knows today. Yet, people have expectations of you. One could sense that. I was not at all keen in being part of politics, but one could sense that. So that is the association and attachment. Your native place, you're born there, you have a legacy, you carry the benefit of the goodwill of your ancestors, you have expectation of the people, you feel that you need to do something. So that bond between the properties that you own, work that you do, you're there. And then the people still, this is now 78 years after independence, where the world has changed. Yet today, even the youngsters, some of them, still feel that you have a role. So then you have to not only live up to that expectation, but fulfill that responsibility. One is doing it because somebody wants. The other is you yourself feel a sense of responsibility. So between that is a bond which I think is unbreakable.
That's very nice to know. In the end, I want to ask you one question, and this is something that all of us here in this room are very interested in knowing, and this is all about your guts. There was a video of you that went viral some time ago of you doing that skydiving in Australia. What made you do it? And that too at the age of 70. I think you were 70 at that point.
Yes. So for me, as one has grown up, like the Statesman, for me is an institution I look up to. It is, one doesn't talk about it even, but it is there on your mind. And it stays. So I have things in my mind which I would like to do. And I try to do them when the opportunity comes, whether it is seeing new places or doing some things. One we talked about a little while back. And skydiving was one of the things that was on my mind for many years. Movies you see, James Bond, this, that,
You'd never
and the
done it
other.
before?
No, I had never done it before. We had paraglided. I had gone with my brother's son, nephew, to South Africa. There we had done paragliding. But skydiving is something that was on my mind, something I'd like to do. And I got an opportunity in Australia. We had gone on a tour on behalf of the medical department, health department, to Australia, see the system, this, that, and the other. And so when you have time off from the meetings which are scheduled with their experts, etc., you inspect their hospitals, their systems, how their IT is working, what is the system of the patient care, how they come up from the GP system. And then
This was when you had the charge of the health,
yes,
ministry
when
in
I was
Chhattisgarh.
part of the health department. So the officers and the team that we had to, what should we do? Spare time, see this. Would you like to do sky? Oh yes. So it came up. We went, and it was great. I did another thing, and now it's complete for me. When we went over to New Zealand, from Australia, we went to New Zealand.
Okay.
I didn't put that on.
Please share that with us. What did you do?
Because this went so viral, and I didn't expect it to. I said, "Nee, this now we should let this be." So the twice experience. One, we went up to 13,000 feet in Australia. Then tandem driving. Of course, it was not an individual dive. Without training, how can you do that? So it was great. Something I wanted to do, and the experience of the wind hitting you at 200, 220 kilometers per hour. That's 1 minute of free fall, and then the parachutes are opened. Then it is less fun, but that free fall was great.
Exhilarating.
Something I wanted to do, something I wanted to experience, and something I could experience. So I want to see the pyramids. I'll go there soon. and the Great Wall of China.
Wonderful. Much on your bucket list. May you keep soaring high. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Statesman Talk.
Thank you so much.
That's it then on this episode of the Statesman Talk. Don't forget to share your comments, like, and subscribe to the channel as well. We come to you from the Statesman, which is one of India's oldest English newspapers.